Okay, I'd like to welcome you here this afternoon because you're getting to a stage now in your schooling life where you have to start making some big decisions in where you are heading after you finish school. And so today we're going to give you a talk about QTAC and what you have to do. It's not something that the school does for you, this is something that you actually have to do. Now, what we're going to be looking through is a whole bunch of things. Who can apply to QTAC, all these dot points, what course available, where can I apply, more information about tertiary dates, important information for you to choose. That is an important one right there. Important information before you apply. You may go get it, Beth. There's no page. Okay. Course fees. Important on here is key dates and offer dates. That is important. Don't worry about your books just yet. How do you apply? What service available after I apply? And how do I respond to a course? That's what we hope to get through here. Okay. Courses available for QTAC. QTAC only offers you courses in selected certificate courses, not all of them. Diplomas, advanced diplomas, and degrees and associated degrees. Basically, you should know that by now. Here's a list of all the universities that QTAC deals with in Queensland. Okay? I'm not going to go through them. And these are, there's also South Bank Institute of TAFE, Technology TAFE, and some colleges. Queensland Heritage College is at Mansfield, and the Queensland Institute of Business and Technology, I think, is at South Bank as well somewhere. Okay. As I said before, I'll make an Edmodo page, and I'll put a code in the morning notices for you guys. This PowerPoint will be linked to a YouTube clip, so you can actually go through this and you can go back and review all these websites, etc., etc. But there's a stack of websites out there. The QTAC website is really, really good. Okay, we're not going to go through that QTAC website because it just goes on forever. The best protocol is for you to use your book here to start with, your QTAC book, then go to those websites or go to the university websites themselves and check them out. I know some of you people have already been to Open Days. Last week was Griffith, August the 11th, August the 11th is Griffith, and UQ is coming up sometime in August as well. This Sunday? Okay. So I would encourage you to go to these and check them out. Now, here's the important part. August the 1st, QTAC opens up its website for you to select your preferences. Okay? Opens up the 1st of August. And it goes through till about the end of September. Really important. If you leave your decision making towards the end of September, you're running out of time. You can select courses that start in semester 1 next year or semester 2 next year. So if you decide to take 6 months off from school, you still need to apply now. The reason for that is they allocate positions for term semester 2 right now. There would still be some dates available in second semester if you applied late, but if you want to take 6 months off and start semester 2, this is the time you need to be applying. B.
If you start semester 2, do you cover the same stuff that they covered in semester 1?
No. University works simply, we'll get questions later, but university simply works, each subject you take, they call it a unit, goes to 6 months. So you study like maths for 4 semesters, you would study a unit for 6 months, then you move to a brand new unit. So and you don't have to do them necessarily in order. Some subjects you do, some units you do, some units you don't do in order. So you start and you might be out of sync, but you end up finishing at the same 6 months later than anybody else because you started 6 months earlier. So university does not work like a 3-year course. It works blocks of 6 months. All right. Okay. Choosing your preferences. This is important because there are some certain dates, etc., we're going to get through very shortly on how to do it. But this is crucial that you follow this. You can choose up to 6 course preferences for each offer round. Now, I talk about offer round. You put your preferences in, come about December or January, they'll send you out an offer. You can accept or reject it. If you reject it, you can put another 6 offers in, another 6 preferences in. But you've got to remember, well, if people accept their offers, there are less positions available. Okay, it's a bit like a bus starts off from the bus depot, it's empty at the first bus stop, people get on. If you're on the last bus stop, there's a chance the bus is full. So you can make subsequent rounds of offers or preferences, but it depends on how many positions are left in that course. E.g., you might choose to do a course and you get the offer and you say, no, I don't want it anymore, I want to change my mind, which means that position is now available for the second round of offers. Okay, so every time you make a subsequent offer round, there's less and less positions. Okay, make sure you satisfy the minimum entry requirements. All university courses have English as a prerequisite. Other courses might ask for a science or a maths, or it could simply be, it could be an audition, which we'll talk about shortly, about sometimes you've got to do an audition. If you don't meet the minimum standards in your coursework that you've studied now, don't bother applying for the subject, for the course, because you're not going to get in. Include a range of courses of varying levels. Okay, you might want to start off with a degree down to a TAFE course. Order of preference, we'll talk about shortly. Cut-offs may change from year to year, so don't assume a university course has a cut-off for 13 last year, or this year currently, sorry, is going to be the same as a cut-off for last year. And don't put every course down as an OP of 10. Okay, if your first course is OP of 10, I'll put the last course maybe an OP of 20. That way you're guaranteed to get into something. Remember, it's guaranteed. It's getting you into the university is your first step. Once you're in there, then you can move yourself around. It's pretty easy to move around courses. But you've got to get in. So don't make everything unrealistic OP, because you may miss out on everything. Just imagine putting an OP of 10. Everything is an OP of 10 and you got an 11. You've missed out on all 6 preferences because you didn't give a varying range of OP scores. After lodging your application, you can change your preferences. The first 3 change of preferences are free. The 4th and subsequent changes are $34 each. So you might go in the 1st of August, put your 6 preferences in, lodge it, done. Pay your fee, and you go 2 weeks later, done, I want to change. That's okay. You can change again, you can change again. Every time you hit the save button, that's a change. That's a preference saved, okay? So you hit the save button 3 times in your first 6 preferences, you've done all your changes. Okay? We always keep telling you to make regular saves when you do your documents, when you do your work at school here. Hit save 3 times, that's your 3 changes of preferences. Therefore, the next one you do is $34. After that, $34. Okay, that's important. Essentially, let you list your preferences carefully, and in any offer round, you can only receive 1 offer. So in other words, you put 6 things down, they only give you 1 choice, and it's normally the highest choice that you put. They don't go, look, we're going to offer you 3 things, course number 2, course number 5, and course number 6. They won't do that, they'll give you course number 2. If you don't like that, you can say, no, I don't want that, and you go back in the next round. Okay, so do your preferences very carefully. Okay, here we go. Choosing your preferences. There's 2 steps to it. First steps, list your preferred order. That means you have 6 courses you want to study, from the best to the least. Okay, best to the least. Step 2, check the major offer round for each preference. Now what that means is they don't release all courses, the offers of each course is all on the same date, which can be problematic. So you've got your 6 courses you want to do, check out when they tell you when they're going to release the course dates, because you've got to put them in order of first release down to last release. Okay. Order if necessary according to round. I'll show you this shortly. Okay. What 6 courses do you do? Well, the first 2 courses you really, really want. Even if your chance of gaining entry is not assured. So if you think you're going to get an 11, you really want to get into that OP of 10, put it in as your first preference, because that's the one you really want to get in. Because you may be pleasantly surprised, because each year OPs are not the same for every person each year. You might get an OP of 9. I got in. If you get an OP of 12, you're not going to get that first preference because your OP wasn't high enough. So it goes down to the second one. Third and fourth, less competitive courses. Less competitive courses means a higher OP for that course. The more competitive the course, the lower the OP. Not necessarily the level of difficulty of the course. It's how competitive or how many people actually want to do that course. Which is why physiotherapy at the moment in time is an ultra low OP, because everybody wants to do it. In a couple of years' time, I'm going to really predict paramedics will be a really low OP score, because everybody currently in grade 10 is thinking of doing paramedics. So they'll lower the OP, because they can. Maths teaching had an OP of 18. Why? No one wanted to do the course. So they try to get people in, make the course, open it up. Didn't mean you could do it. Choosing preference 5 and 6. Course you're prepared to do if you miss out on all the others. In other words, oh geez, I've missed out on all my university courses. I'm prepared to go to TAFE for 6 months, build up my results, get myself into university later on. You've got to have a good spread. So it's from best down to your least applicable subject. So you're going to go the best up here down to least down there. Now, once you've done that, here's what I said. I talked about these major round offer. You've got to check when they release the dates. Most semester 1 courses release their dates in January. Okay? Most of them in January. Here it says, but it said the word most. Not all. A small number of courses have their major rounds in December. So some of you may actually find out if you're going to university in December. Most will find out whether you're going in January. Now there is a problem with that, and we'll get that right very shortly. What happened to it? Okay. If all your preferences have the same date of their offering, so in other words, they're all January the 14th. All 6 courses you want to do are all released on January the 14th. You go, beautiful, I don't have a problem. Because you go from your best down to your worst. That makes sense so far? If they are not ordered in the same, if they're not released in the same date, you've got to reorder your preferences in order of release date. So in other words, if your very first preference is released on January the 31st, and your first preference is released on the 15th of January. So your first is on the 31st, your second is on the 15th of January. QTAC will look at your number 1 preference. Its release date is end of January. They won't tell you to when. End of January. You missed out. Guess what you've also missed out on? The second one, because when was that released? In the 15th of January. So that date's already gone and you've missed that as well because they didn't give it to you because they were waiting for the very first one. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Here's an example of someone with their 6 preferences. You will notice that they want to do Bachelor of Brisbane Uni, so that's Makeup Uni, Bachelor of Acting. Its major offer date is the 12th of December this year. Their second one is on the 16th of January. In fact, the rest of the next 5 are all the 16th of January. QTAC, get this, come the 12th of December, they will send you out a letter saying whether you got in or not. If you did get in, you go, beauty, I'm going to accept that. Or you could say, I've changed my mind, I really want to go to Metro Uni now, do my Bachelor of Commerce, number 2. So what do? You can say, I'm going to accept it maybe, but I want to wait for the second round. Because they're in chronological order of dates, you actually haven't missed your second to your 6th preference yet because they have not yet been released. Does that make sense to you? Because they're in order. Because Here's the problem. Now, that's a small slide, I realise that. This is actually found, if you have your textbook, if you have your book, this is actually found on page 11. Page 11. Page 11. Okay, page 11, first column, bottom of the page. It says example 3. All found that? This is the problem. Metro Uni, Bachelor of Commerce, and it says the major offer date is June the 5th, 2014, which means when's that course starting? Second semester. But because they've made it their very first preference, QTAC waits until that 5th of June to tell you what's happening, because you've told them that is your very first preference. That's what you really want to get. Now, if you didn't get into that course, when's the next one? The 16th of January. Hang on. That's 6 months earlier. The student's already been in that course for 6 months. You won't get that either, because that course has started. In fact, you have missed out on every course because you didn't put them in the chronological correct order. That makes sense? So you've got your 6 preferences. Make sure the offer dates are also in the chronological order. Yes, B?
So you can hold your application and say it's gotten into that and you're like, oh, that wasn't exactly what I wanted.
Yes, you can. They will, yep, because when they send you the paperwork, they ask all these questions, and you fill it out and go, yep, or I want to hold it, or I want to reject it. You get options of what you want to do.
So basically, so you don't number them in what you want, you number them in the date.
Well, both. If all the dates are released at the same time, like 16th of January, you put them in order of your best to worst. You still put them in best to worst, but you've got to make sure the offer dates are also in order, because otherwise if you put them out of order, if an offer date, for example, in that example there, it says the 5th of June, you've missed all the other offers. If you don't get that one, there's no point in putting any others in because they've all gone. They've been and dusted. It's a bit like saying, I'll wait here as a bus comes along. No, I'll wait for the second bus. The second bus is full. I can't get on the first bus now because it's gone. It's the same deal. You've got to put them in order. So, but you can, if you really want that 5th of June one, then that's the one that you actually have to put in. You've got to put them in order. All right. Choosing your preferences. If you don't receive an offer in your preferred course in January, February or March, you have more options. You can keep your QTAC application active after semester 1 offer rounds through to July 2014. In other words, if you don't get that first round offer, your QTAC application doesn't end. You can go back and reorder your preferences and keep doing it until end of semester 1. But every time you're going to do it now, it's going to cost you $34 basically. You can conditionally, the third dot point there, you can conditionally offer, accept an offer in January, February, and even begin that course. Change your preference to include semester 2 courses and be considered for a new or higher degree in the June. So in other words, you really want to get that one in September, semester 2. You get offered one in September, semester 1. You start it. You get the one you really wanted that starts in semester 2, and you change across and do that one instead. Okay? But if you didn't get it in semester 2, you would have got nowhere. Okay, there's a slide there about choosing courses for semester 2. If you make a firm response to semester 1 and change your mind, you don't have to submit a new application because your application stays good until the end of semester 1. Luke?
Do you have to choose 6?
No, you don't have to choose 6, but you'd be silly not to. All right? The subjects actually say when they start. The courses actually say this starts semester 1 or this course will start in semester. It tells you in the QTAC book. You can most likely, you can call it deferring. We'll talk about it a bit later. Okay, we'll keep going. Okay. As Luke said, do you have to choose all 6? The answer is no, but choosing 6 gives you the maximum opportunity of getting into a university of some course. Choosing 1 only gives you one option. Choosing 6 gives you a whole range. To give you some idea what I'm talking about, a friend of mine wanted to be a PE teacher, couldn't get into PE because PE was so popular, went into English instead, then transferred across after 6 months into PE. Okay? If they only put down PE, they would not have gone into teaching. Okay? There are alternative ways of getting the course you want to get into. If you need a break, if you're sick and tired of school and you want a break, select courses commencing in semester 2, 2014 only if you wish to do that. You don't want to go to school, university straight away, then don't select semester 1 start courses.
Why is it harder to get into?
Because there's less positions available. Because students in semester 1 will also be taking your subjects as well. So they may not, for example, some people drop out in semester 1, therefore there are positions available in that unit still. Some people, and they may not fill it completely from the first round, so they offer it again. Okay, a whole range of things. Okay, as it says there, the last dot point, be aware most courses are hard to get into. Now, course fees, I'm not going to go through a lot of this work here, because you can look at this yourself. It's in the QTAC book. Basically, it's between $6,000 to $9,000 a semester. It's going to cost you. You don't have to pay up front. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know why we're chatting. If you go to some place like Bond University, that's not supported by the Commonwealth Government, you pay full fees, which means approximately $4,000 per unit. And there may be 24 units of work in a degree. Works out to be about $96,000 you would pay.
It's 32 units.
Depending on your course. Okay? Most cases it'll cost you somewhere between, Jake, $40,000 to $50,000 for your degree through a Commonwealth sponsored university, except for Bond it'll cost you the total. You can apply through QTAC and you can apply directly to them as well. Yep, because they're a private institution. Okay, there are some figures there. You can look at those figures. That's in your book. That's in your book. As I said, between $0 to $10,000. I don't know any course that goes zero unless you get sponsored.
Will that price change per year?
Yes, it does. Not by a great lot, though.
Okay, yeah, it won't be that fixed price for 4 years.
It also depends on the unit you take. Any units that require a lot of if you do anything in medical stuff, it's expensive. Look, my last couple of university units I did would cost me $1,000 because they're all online and they gave you nothing for it. So it's just a $1,000 fee for a digital textbook. That there is basically what you would pay per semester. Yep. Oh, sorry. Per year, sorry. My mistake, yeah. But that can vary. Look, that's a rough guide. Okay. TAFE, South Bank, they're all there. There's a whole stack of stuff. Here we go. Key dates. Really important. Really, really, really important. And this is found in your book on page 2 of your book. Page 2. There are bucket loads of dates. August the 1st is when you can start doing this. August the 27th is when it closes. But you will notice on page 2 of your book, there's a whole bunch of other dates that are required. Now, I'm not going to run through those. I'm expecting you to look at those dates. But page 2 is an important date. Now, if you notice on my slide here, it says 27th it closes. The 28th, you have to pay a late fee. It's $109. After the 11th of December, you've missed out for semester 1. Now, what I'm saying is you've got between August and you've got nearly 6 or 7 weeks to get your QTAC form in now. December the 16th is to submit documentation for the 16th of January offer round. In other words, they need the paperwork by then. And the 30th of December, if you don't have an OP and you're an applicant, you get your OP ranking in that via QTAC. Application form. They've got to have it, you close it, but they've got to have it by the 12th. You might also have to, Lachlan, to give some supplying details of, for example, if you're doing a music audition, there might be some documentation they require. For example, you say you might have a certificate in this, they have to see it by that date. Most courses don't. All right. 8th of January, final date to change add move delete preferences for the 16th. Do you notice that you can actually change stuff up to the 8th of January, but it's going to cost you money to make changes now. 22nd January, due date to apply for the 6th of February offer round. These are all there. Now, here is some more important stuff. And I want you to turn to page 4 of your book. Page 4. On page 4 of your book, it says fixed closing dates. This is to me the most important part you have to listen to today after those preferences. On page 4 and page 5, I suggest you put a little dog tag on this section, because these are courses that require an application other than QTAC. These are where you might have to do an audition, might have to submit a portfolio. They are all listed there with the appropriate date. E.g., if you are going to do at Griffith University a Bachelor of Business / Bachelor of Music, applicants must lodge the application for audition by the 12th of August. Ooh, hang on. That's 2 weeks away. So if you need to do is read this and make sure your courses that you are interested in don't have some extra requirement. Now when I say lodge an application, it's just an application. It's fill in the form, tell us the details. It's not doing the audition. It's not doing the portfolio. It's registering that you are going to be submitting something else. And that covers all of the universities. All of them. Now, obviously something with music will require an audition. Something with art may require a portfolio. Page 4, page 5 is very important that you read. Nothing more tragic than someone missing the application date or not realising there was an application to be made with their course. That is tragic, and that has happened before. All right. Okay, to start your application. Easy one. Enter your Louis number. Hands up those people who do not know their Louis number. Amazing. Remember how we did that QCS practice? We gave you the sticky label. Has it on there. When you go to the QTAC website, you'll find it somewhere there. Okay, it then says to enter your QTAC PIN number. QTAC PIN number. Read the next dot point down. It says your QTAC PIN number will be given to you after you've prepaid. So you actually got to prepay before you can start. Yeah, there's an application fee, but after that, there's an application fee to start with. After that 3 saves, they start charging you again. I think it's $34. And it's got to be done by credit card or BPay, something like that. So you'll need your parents' credit card for them to do this. Righty-o. Okay, here we go. Some fees. Here we go, B. Jake. $34 if you lodge it before the 27th of September, $109 after that. You can pay by credit card, BPay, or use a prepayment voucher. I've never seen anybody use a prepaid voucher yet. Okay, please note, BPay is a dangerous one to use. Because BPay, you might pay it on as we just said on the 1159, BPay does not necessarily register straight away. BPay may take up to 2 to 3 days to actually register, therefore you've missed out. So, can I suggest you do this before the 27th? Okay. Like most things, check before you submit. Check you've got the right courses. Are you satisfied everything's right? It's not lodged until you see that confirmation of lodgement page. And be sure to print it out. Print it out. It's proof that you've actually done it. All right. And you just go through there. It's pretty straightforward. It's all done online. As I said, this will be up there. Now, there's a few more slides. These you can read these in your leisure. But the important thing to do is this. Once you have been received an offer, you must respond. Do not assume that you are in the course because they said you are. If you don't respond, you're not in the course. There are no assumptions made here. With 20,000 people applying or so, there is no assumptions that you're going to do the course. You need to tell them, I've been offered the course, tick the box, send it back, whatever, I will accept this. Okay? If you don't respond, you may lose your right for that offer and you'll not be considered for any of the courses. Applicants can respond via an online service, etc., etc. Okay? And there are a couple of different ways to accept it. You can accept it straight out, or you can accept it waiting for another offer. You can defer, I want to accept it, but I want to take a year off, and they'll keep your spot for you. Not bad. This is all in the book. Or you can totally reject the offer. Luke.
Can you do that deferring for a semester as well?
Depends on the course. Depends on the institution. What the best thing to do is you contact them. Okay. You can change your preference. I'm not going to go through this because a lot of this stuff here is pretty straightforward. But
So on page 16 is the deferral policies.
Oh, yes.
So it says which unis,
Yep.
which institutions will and won't.
Look, can I just state really clearly, as Mr. Kings has pointed out, page 16 has, each university is different. They have a different deferment policy. The first, I would say, the first section 1 of your QTAC book is really important to read. It goes for 20 pages, and you don't have to read all 20 pages, but I would be reading the sections, like applying, supporting documents. What is a supporting document? You know, it talks about how to get those things chronologically ordered correctly. That's especially on page 11. It talks about also, if online, what type of computer requirements you need. You don't have to worry about that, you'll be right. It also talks about institution admission, application selection after applying to QTAC, QTAC offer rounds. It tells you all the information you need. But for you guys today, there are a couple of things you need to do. Courses from best to worst. The ones you really want to do to the least. And secondly, you need to also order them in order of offer. Get the dates in order. And the third thing is, if you're applying to a course that requires an application of an addition, a portfolio, those ones I said on page 4, you need to fill out an application form. Those application forms are all done online. Everything in a university is done online. All right. As I said, this will be. I'll make a Edmodo thing over this, and I'll put this up there.